Once upon a time, in the gleaming city of tall glass buildings and endless ambition, there lived a man named Adrian. Adrian was not just any man. He was the CEO of one of the biggest corporations in the city, a man people feared to cross, a man whose laughter often came at someone else's expense. He loved showing the world that power gave him the right to decide who mattered and who did not. One rainy evening, Adrian hosted a grand party at his mansion. The air was filled with glittering chandeliers, the clinking of crystal glasses, and the low hum of important conversations. Guests came dressed in gowns and tuxedos, eager to impress the man whose approval could open doors. Yet in the corner of this luxury stood someone who didn't belong, a girl named Leela. Leela was no guest. She had been invited by the staff out of pity. She was the daughter of a janitor who had recently passed away, leaving her with nothing but her mother's old dress and a dream she dared not share. While others dined on silver plates, she stood quietly, eyes wandering toward the magnificent piano in the center of the room. Adrian noticed her. He smirked. He was amused by her presence, almost as if life had sent him entertainment wrapped in rags. "Tell me," he called out, his voice echoing through the hall, "what are you staring at? The piano? You think you can play it?" The room chuckled. All eyes turned to the poor girl in the faded dress. Leela lowered her gaze, but whispered, "Yes, I can play." Adrian threw back his head and laughed, a cruel, cutting laugh. "You can play, you? If you can really play that piano, then I'll do something outrageous. I'll adopt you as my daughter." He said it as a joke, never imagining it could be possible. The crowd erupted in laughter, waiting to see the poor girl humiliate herself. But Leela did not laugh. She walked toward the piano, her hands trembling. Every step she took made the laughter grow louder, until it filled the room like a cruel symphony. She sat down, her small fingers brushing the ivory keys. For a moment, silence. Then she began to play. The first note was soft, uncertain, like a whisper, but what followed was a flood of sound so powerful it stole the air from the room. Her fingers danced across the keys as though she had been born for this very moment. The melody she chose wasn't a grand classical piece, but something deeper, something that told her story of hunger, of loneliness, of losing her father, and of nights when music was the only light in her darkness. The laughter stopped. The smirks melted into awe. Adrian, who moments ago had mocked her, felt his chest tighten. He couldn't move his eyes away from her. The notes seemed to peel back layers of his soul he had buried long ago. Each chord was a cry, each pause was a prayer. And when she reached the final note, the room was silent, not because no one cared, but because everyone was holding their breath. The silence lasted longer than any applause could, and then the room erupted, not with laughter this time, but with tears, with standing ovations, with people unable to believe that this frail girl had created something divine. Adrian stood frozen, his words echoed in his own mind. "If she can play, I'll adopt her." It had been a cruel joke, but now it felt like a promise he could not walk away from. Slowly, he walked toward her, his proud shoulders bent in humility for the first time. "Leela," he said softly, his voice breaking, "you didn't just play the piano. You played my heart. Forgive me for laughing at you. From this day forward, you are no longer alone." Gasps filled the hall. The mighty CEO, known for his iron heart, was now speaking with tears in his eyes. Leela looked up at him, unsure whether to believe him. But in that moment, she saw not the powerful man everyone feared, but a father who had been waiting all his life to be found. And so the girl who had walked into the mansion as an outsider walked out as family, not because she sought pity, not because she begged, but because her gift, her courage, forced the world to listen. Some stories remind us that talent is not born in luxury halls, but in hidden corners where pain teaches us to create beauty. And sometimes those who laugh the loudest are the ones most in need of being humbled. So remember this. Never underestimate the quiet ones, the overlooked, the ones dressed in old clothes but carrying new dreams. Because one day they might sit at life's piano, and when they play, the whole world will stop and listen. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to believe in the power of hidden talent. And ask yourself, when the world laughs at you, will you still have the courage to play your song?